Guys, welcome back to Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie, and believe it or not, guys, this is the 200th episode of Overtime Arcade. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I cannot believe that I've made 200 episodes on this channel. It's insane. And to celebrate such a significant milestone, guys, I thought we'd do something special for this episode. It's been almost 2 years since I've done a complete comprehensive grand tour of my entire collection, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. A lot has changed in the past 2 years. Games are constantly coming and going out of my house. I own over 50 games right now. It's unreal. A lot of people would say I'm crazy, but I am crazy about these games, and we're going to go through every single one of them today in this episode. All the games that are down here in the basement in the primary lineup, all the projects and everything I've got upstairs out in the garage, and the games that I've got everywhere else, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's things that you've never seen before. So yeah, we'll probably begin down here in the basement. We'll go through everything. Again, there's over 50 games, some weird ones, some rare ones, and I'm sure you're in for something special here. So if that sounds like fun, why don't we get started? Let's go!
Overtime!
Okay guys, starting down here in the basement, we have 22 games, 16 full-size upright arcade video games, 2 cabarets, 2 cocktails, and 2 pinball machines. And yeah, this room is absolutely jam-packed, and I've got a whole reorganization plan coming up because I want to fit even more games down here. We will start over here. A is for Asteroids, Atari Asteroids, one of possibly the most successful Atari video game ever released. This is obviously the cabaret version, which compared to the Centipede next to it is teeny tiny, much smaller than the full-size upright. But they pack the full game experience in this little package right here. I picked it up, the seller's house, his whole neighborhood had lost power, so that was a bit interesting. He did have a whole house generator, so we did a play testing of it when I was buying it, running off of the generator, and this thing was so tiny, it fit under the tonneau cover of my old pickup. But yeah, gotta have Asteroids, and that's great right here. Next we have Centipede. This is actually the first game that I ever picked up years and years ago, and I got it, and it was working, but it needed some TLC to bring it back to its full potential. And one thing you'll notice here is, guys, that's not Centipede. That's because I have a millipede board installed there with an adapter that lets you run a millipede board inside of a Centipede cabinet. And yeah, that's an awesome game. I love both of those games, and I'll never get rid of my first game right here, Centipede. Next to that, we have a Dig Dug, another Atari game. And yeah, we're keeping it in alphabetical order to start here. Dig Dug, I was looking for one of these for a long time. Finally found one relatively recently, actually on my birthday this year. Very nice, sweet old lady, like 80, 90 years old. And she was trying to help me get it out of the basement. I told her not to. She didn't listen, and the back door fell off and hit her in the head. Don't worry, she was okay, but it could have been disaster. Anyway, I love Dig Dug. Awesome game. Some people don't think it's got the deepest gameplay. That's a little bit of a pun digging there. But yeah, gotta have Dig Dug. Absolute stone cold classic. Next to this here is a Neo Geo 4-slot Big Red MVS-25-4. And we got some issues here. This monitor is not doing so hot. It's got a persistent degauss issue that I'm not able to get rid of. It's missing the electroluminescent panel for the little mini marquees. So I'm probably gonna have to swap out the monitor at some point. I'm looking for an EL panel. If anyone has one they're trying to get rid of it, I need it for a 4-slot, please let me know. And I gotta fix a lot of the wiring in there, replace the power supply. But it's playable, it technically works. Got this in a trade, really convoluted story. I basically got a Sly Spy cabinet that I got for free, and through a series of convoluted trades like the paperclip game, I wound up with a 4-slot Neo Geo. Very excited about that, and I'm now getting into collecting Neo Geo MVS games to try them out in my cabinet. And another system that allows you to play multiple games at once in the single cabinet is a Nintendo PlayChoice 10. This is the dual monitor version of the PlayChoice 10, so we have monitors above and below. just like Punch-Out and arm wrestling, that sort of thing. Play Choice 10, awesome game. Guys, I don't know if you know this, I'm also an NES collector. I collect NES cartridges, console games, and this is just a logical extension of that collection. You have up to 10 games at once. These are the 10 games that I have loaded right now. Let's go to Metroid, one of my favorite games. Did you know that there was an arcade version of Metroid? Well, only on the Play Choice 10. Picked this up locally. I got it off of Craigslist. It was crazy. I was working on my Donkey Kong at the time, and this popped up, and I jumped on it. Just needed monitor work, and the thing was basically good to go. Replaced the T-molding, and yeah, really happy to have this in my collection. Two games next to it that are absolutely awesome, Robotron and Joust. Awesome games from Williams. Robotron, this cabinet here, I think this was the most I've ever paid for a single game because it was complete. It hadn't been converted. It hadn't been destroyed. This actually came from the Jersey Shore. It was in an arcade at the Jersey Shore years ago. I saved it out of a warehouse where it had been sitting for over 20 years. I did a complete overhaul of it, not really cosmetically, just cleaned it up cosmetically, but rebuilt everything, the monitor, redid all the header and IDC connectors and everything. It's all original, completely rebuilt, and yeah, I absolutely love Robotron. Some days, most days, guys, Robotron 2084 is my favorite game. Joust right here, it's twin, and this is not just any Joust, guys. This is, if you notice, the joysticks are a bit different than normal Joust. Now, Joust is the joysticks on Joust are just, two directions. It's a two-way joystick. You can really only move left and right and then flap to make your bird fly, your mount fly. But this is not the normal two-way joystick that you would typically see on like a Defender or a Stargate. These are optical joysticks. A very small number of Joust cabinets shipped with optical two-way joysticks. Optical joysticks like similar to what you would see in like a Bubbles. But this is specifically, and these are original joysticks, and I discovered that this was a optical Joust when I was redoing the control panel because this thing had been converted to SNK Street Smart, and Brad Raydell hooked me up with an awesome deal for two original. There's very, very few of these optical joysticks out there, but if you're ever working on a Joust and you see circular holes for the joysticks instead of narrow oval holes, you've got an optical Joust. But yeah, awesome game here. Really, really happy to have it. And here's an oddball for you right here. This, as it says, is BurgerTime, but it's not an ordinary BurgerTime. The artwork's different. The cabinet is totally different. It doesn't look at all like the typical Bally Midway BurgerTime that you would see with the shape of the cabinet sort of cut out like the chef's hat, Peter Pepper, because this is not an American BurgerTime, guys. This is a Japanese deco cabinet from Data East. Originally, this would have had a cassette-based system to load the games off of a cassette. Again, a multi-game system where you could load different cassettes and change out the artwork or whatnot. I wasn't about to mess with that super unreliable hardware that was just a total pain. So this is actually running a BitKit 2 by CraftyMech. It's an FPGA-based hardware emulation that lets you play a bunch of different games. And this is my vertical BitKit setup. I also have a horizontal BitKit. So we've got a ton of vertical games here, but I've got it set to boot to BurgerTime because BurgerTime is an absolutely awesome game. Coming over here, looking down, we'll turn our attention downwards. This is the first of two cocktails that I've gotten here in the basement. Now, this was originally a Dig Dug cocktail, and I got this with the plan of restoring it back to a Dig Dug. As you can see, it's got a Dig Dug control panel overlay there. But this does not have Dig Dug installed. It actually has been converted to a Do Run Run. I think it was the final game released in the original Mr. Do series. Awesome game. It is on the 60-in-1 if you want to play it there. The artwork looks great here. This is a fantastic game, but I don't think this is going to be a keeper in my collection. So if anyone's looking for either a Do Run Run that just works or a Dig Dug cocktail for restoration, let me know. Next up, we have my Pac-Man Mini, the first of two cabarets in the collection down here. This is actually on free play, so we'll go ahead and start it. Otherwise, it'll just sit on that screen. And it actually has a bootleg conversion on an original Pac-Man board of Fast Ms. Pac-Man. Kind of a silly thing here, but I got an original Pac-Man PCB coming to me soon. Again, this is the mini or cabaret version of Pac-Man, so a lot smaller than the full-size cabinet. And instead of Pac-Man artwork on the side, we just have wood grain vinyl. Yeah, this was kind of a, I took a lot of shortcuts here, didn't do a ton of, cosmetic restoration because it was in okay shape, and I'd rather have a C condition all original than an A condition with lots of reproduction parts here. My kids kind of tease me sometimes because they say, Dad, aren't you going to paint all this, all this exposed wood is coming out? But I think I'll leave it just like this. Painting over here, you can see a new addition to my collection, not a game, but an Atari banner. I think this technically, it's huge, fits over my my monitors for work. And yeah, I think technically this was for Atari computer, but it does say copyright in 1982, Atari Inc., and it comes from the Warner period, and that was, in my opinion, the best era for Atari before the Atari games sort of stuff. But yeah, great. It fits right here in my office really well, and I love it. Coming over here, we have our second cocktail, and this is actually the second game that I ever owned, and the first one that I brought back completely from the dead, Donkey Kong Jr., the cocktail version. I actually got this from Coin-Op Warehouse. Awesome game. It was completely dead when I got it, missing the monitor, the power cord had been cut off, everything needed to be done, and that absolute thrill, that feeling that I got when this game sprung back to life for the first time in decades, entirely because of the work that I put into it. Guys, that rush, that feeling, that's what I love about this hobby, and I chase it every single time with every single project that I get into. Next, we have a Pengo, Sega Pengo. Awesome game. You kind of push blocks around, you play as this penguin. It's brutally hard. It's got awesome music. It's running an original board. I think I've got a JAMA adapter in there with a JAMA harness, because when I got this thing had been converted. I got it for free, had to strip off all of the, the sides have been painted black. It's got all new artwork on it, and what an awesome game. Brutally hard. Don't let the really cute appearance fool you. This game is brutal. Next to it is Frogger. Everybody knows Frogger. Everybody loves Frogger. I actually got this Frogger from a college football frat house, and that was sort of an interesting situation. I think Division III college football frat house. This thing had been converted to, I don't know, Atari Warriors or something like that. So completely, redid everything. Had to strip the original vinyl off those sides because it was trash. And you really can't see it here, and that's a shame because I put wood grain vinyl back on the sides like the original, except I've got the side art from the Frogger episode of Seinfeld. So yeah, if you go back and rewatch that episode, you'll notice sort of a non-standard artwork on the side, and that's what I've got here. But yeah, fantastic game that, again, I don't think could ever leave my collection. Another one of my favorite games, which again just so happens to be a Williams game, is Bubbles. I love Bubbles. This is a game where you play as basically a scrubbing bubble in a sink, trying to clean it up, avoiding being destroyed by bad guys, and only going down the drain when you're ready to go. It is not the most intuitive game to play, but it is a ton of fun. So I would highly recommend seeking out Bubbles if you have an opportunity to play it. Try it out, drop a quarter in there, boot it up in MAME, whatever, and you will love Bubbles as much as I do, probably. Some people don't like it, but it is really a great game. Next we have Tempest. And yeah, this is smaller than the normal Tempest. This is our second cabaret. Again, this is one of the first games that I ever got, the first vector that I ever owned, the first vector that I ever worked on. And this was another bottom-up, completely nothing worked in this game. The cabinet was a wreck. I had to cut off the bottom 6 inches of it because it was destroyed by water damage and rebuild it from the bottom up. And I really didn't do a great job sort of with that. And good thing it's pushed into a row so you can't see my sort of hack job woodworking repair on that. But from the front, it looks great. And what an awesome game. Full 19-inch screen here. Atari's first color vector game, not black and white like Asteroids. Full color Tempest. And this thing is a bear to keep working. Vector games are a little bit tricky in general. Right now, this thing's been working okay for a while, but every now and again, I have to throw some time into it to keep it working. Next to that is Donkey Kong. Everybody knows Donkey Kong. Everybody loves Donkey Kong, the first appearance of Mario, but actually in this game, he wasn't called Mario. He was called Jumpman. See where it says right there, jump button makes Jumpman jump? Yeah, that ain't Mario, that's Jumpman. He didn't get the name Mario until much later. Another game that was very early, an early addition to my collection. I love it. Again, some days Donkey Kong is my favorite game. This cabinet isn't perfect. It's got some issues down there. It's got this piece of black metal to cover up some damage. There's a lock bar hole that I didn't repair. So this was early in my collection, and I don't know everything that I did now, especially on the woodworking stuff, which is not my favorite part. I like working on the electronics, guys. But yeah, Donkey Kong, awesome, love it. This is never going to leave. And next to that, we have Red Baron. And I know moments ago you saw this thing working, but then it went a bit haywire and stopped working. So I turned it off for a bit. Let me turn it back on. There we go. And maybe it'll work. Sometimes it acts like this. No, it doesn't want to work right now. Is it going to work? Is it going to boot up? We've got a flashing start light here. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's kind of behaving. This thing's a little bit flaky. This was a great deal that I got locally. I was not looking for a Red Baron. Red Baron is actually, if you've ever played Atari Star Wars, it's kind of like Atari Star Wars, except it's black and white, or really blue and white. And you're flying a bi-wing, or a biplane instead of an X-wing. And yeah, you can actually fly in a circle, unlike Star Wars, which is an on-rails shooter. Anyway, this thing, it's probably a voltage issue. I should double check it, but every now and again it has to be turned off and turned back on. And I like this game. It's actually in a cabinet that's the same as Battlezone. Most Red Barons were originally Battlezones. Anyway, I don't know if this is going to be a keeper, guys. So if you're interested in the Red Baron, especially if some sort of trade for something that I want, please reach out and let me know. Time Pilot next to that right here. Centuri game, really fun. You fly around and you can go in any different direction. You're traveling through time, different periods of time. So you're actually shooting biplanes in this one too. So in two different games next to each other, shooter games where you can shoot down enemy biplanes. Obviously, very, very different gameplay than Red Baron. Got this in a trade from my buddy and Overtime Arcade channel member, Dillweed, aka Taylor. And I like it, my kids like it. I'm not sure it's a keeper either. So this might not be in the collection the next time we do a tour, but I do like it, I do enjoy it. Time Pilot, what can I say? An awesome game over here that's not going to leave is Atari Crystal Castles trackball game with a lit up trackball. Isometric sort of gem hunting game. So think like kind of combine, I don't know, Pac-Man with Zaxxon, but it's not like Zaxxon. It really is a fantastic game. This is an absolutely beautiful cabinet. The only thing is it's missing the Atari logo here on the speaker grill, but we'll get that fixed up someday. But yeah, you have this isometric maze here. You play Bentley Bear, you're going around collecting all these gems, avoiding bad guys. You can sort of move in these 4 directions. Anyway, super awesome game, definitely worth checking out, and has to be played with a trackball to really experience it in all of its glory. Next we have another interesting, unique game. This is Bosconian, but this is not the Bosconian cabinet that you will normally see, because normally you'll find it in a Bally Midway cabinet, and this is not a Bally Midway cabinet. This is actually a Sidam cabinet. Sidam company in Italy, they have the rights from Namco to release Bosconian in the European market, and this actually is, it took me a while to track this down, an original Sidam Bosconian marquee. Somehow this cabinet made its way to the United States. When I got it, it had been converted to another game. I think it was Akari Warriors 3 with the rotary joysticks. But I brought it back, and rather than trying to track down a Sidam Bosconian PCB or using a Bally Midway PCB, this is also running a BitKit 2 from Crafty Mech. But Bosconian is a horizontal game, so this has a bunch of different horizontal games in it, like Tapper and Timber, that sort of stuff. So awesome game, Bosconian. Again, you fly around in a circle. It's a little bit like Time Pilot, but instead of really going like 360, you kind of go in 8 different directions. Awesome game. Check it out. Has speech in it. Very, very cool. And then finally, we have my 2 pinball machines here. 2 very, very different pinball machines. First, we have Star Trek: The Next Generation from Williams. First of all, guys, this is a super pin, like you see it right here. That just means it is wider than a normal pinball machine. And this, I love this theme. This is probably my favorite pinball machine of all time. I am a huge fan of Star Trek, in particular Star Trek: The Next Generation. We got all the core cast here on the back glass. And even down here, I have a pin cup, so a cup holder on my pinball machine with an extra special crewman right here. Wesley Crusher! Shut up, Wesley! Anyway, that's the only mod that I've done on this pinball machine. Somebody else, before I got it, put a little Borg cube right there. Really, really awesome pinball machine. I remember playing this when I was a kid. Obviously, I gravitated towards it because I loved Star Trek: The Next Generation so much, and I do love this game. What part of me is thinking, I don't really want pinball machines anymore? I don't know. Guys, am I crazy? Talk me out of it. I feel like I can fit a lot more video games down here than if I got rid of these pinball machines. I don't know. And I like playing them, but nothing about restoring or repairing pinball machines excites me. You know, I do enough to keep these things up and running, but I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, next we have the Munsters. This is a modern game released by Stern in 2019 based on the classic Munsters TV show. This, guys, I know most pinball people don't hold this game in high regard, but I absolutely love it. It's very beginner friendly. It's very easy to understand what to do and where to go and what the targets you're supposed to hit. My kids really like it. The music and sound effects and call out and everything are fantastic. I actually like this game quite a bit. So anyway, guys, that's what we have down here in the basement right now. All of these awesome games. I got some cool artwork, including this custom sort of marquee box that another one of my channel members, the Owl Arcade, made. I'll put a link down below if you want to learn how to make something like that. But yeah, all these awesome games down here. But don't worry, we have a lot more to go. So why don't we head down to the up to the garage and check out all the projects and everything I have up there. But before we do that, why don't we take a moment for a very special message. Every year, thousands of classic arcade machines are destroyed by rot, neglect, or abuse. Many of those that do survive suffer the humiliating fate of some pathetic multi-cade conversion in dung heaps like this. Poor little fella. I'm Charlie from Overtime Arcade. I've been asked if, after witnessing this god-awful misery for the past 40 years, if I've finally gotten used to this. Used to this? How can any arcade enthusiast with eyes and ears and a heart get used to this? The vile odor of a nicotine-stained cabinet where hundreds of mice use the same control panel as a toilet. The heartbreaking squeak of a 4-way joystick so worn out its ball top is coming loose. The sight of a CRT monitor so tired it's too dim to see. And one with so many cold solder joints it doesn't even have the high voltage for neck glow. It's enough to make Eugene Jarvis cry. Now, we can't save them all, but with your help, we can save some. And all you have to give is $1.99 per month. That's less than 7 cents a day. Your 7 cents will help restore one of these otherwise doomed machines back into a clean and bright working arcade game. Put life-giving new capacitors into a dying little chassis. Nourishing paint onto dilapidated side art. Fresh transistors into a busted old power supply. And if you become an Overtime Arcade channel member on YouTube right now, you'll get something that's good for your heart. An assortment of exclusive channel membership perks, including early access to new videos, an invitation to our members-only Discord, a monthly members-only live stream, and so much more. Can you think of a better reason to support Overtime Arcade right now than to give some classic arcade machine another chance to spread joy and happiness again with gamers young and old? Right, Donkey Kong? All right, guys, and here's what it looks like out here in the garage where we have another 28 games out here. That's right, we've got 24 2-dozen full-size uprights. We've got 2 cabaret/minis, and we've got 2 cocktail tables. Now, 9 of these games are, let's say, fully working-ish. An additional 1 was working until about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. And about a dozen others are in various states of almost not quite working-ish. But why don't we start back here with the back row. These are never, ever seen on the channel. Typically, they're almost always buried behind tons of stuff. The first several here, the first 4 actually all came from a single warehouse raid that I did coming up on 2 years ago now with my buddies Taylor, aka Dillweed, plus Liam and Sam, aka 64-bit and Space Sam from Retrobotics. all of whom are channel members. This was an awesome warehouse raid that we did in an abandoned building in West Virginia. Anyway, first up we have a Space Invaders Deluxe right here. And unfortunately, all the games from this, except for one, from this warehouse raid had all been decimated by copper thieves. The harnesses were gone, the tubes were unfortunately smashed, and the yokes were gone, and they've been really kind of messed up, but they do deserve to be brought back to life. So yeah, this Deluxe Space Invaders here, Space Invaders Deluxe, this is actually going to go to my buddy Bob Freeman, who is also a channel member. Now, Bob has done me some awesome favors that I don't think anyone knows about, so I'm really happy for this Space Invaders Deluxe to make its way to Bob. These next two games here, NATO Defense and Thief, are kind of siblings. They're both made by a company called Pacific Novelty. Very similar games. Thief, very much like Pac-Man, except you are playing a bank robber and you're being chased by cops and trying to collect money. And both of these games, very similar. They both have speech. I think originally Thief had an 8-track and NATO Defense might have had a cassette that played like talking speech on those tapes, recorded speech. Yeah, both of these games are really rough, and I'll probably get to them someday. Next game down here, very interesting, very unique. This has been converted to Tech-On Star Force, but this was originally a game called Enigma 2. Very, very super uncommon game by GPI. And yeah, the cabinet kind of got smashed up here. It's just really cheap, not even particle board. This is like almost like press board or something. We're gonna have to fix that. And I'm gonna have to try to find a board. So if I've been looking for a while, if anyone out there has an Enigma 2 PCB, I'll be very much excited to get this game going again. Next up is Popeye, Nintendo's classic Popeye. This cabinet has also seen some better days. This was picked up for me by my buddy Jeremiah from opcorner. This game was rough. And there was another Donkey Kong cabinet that had been converted to Ninja Gaiden that was completely unsalvageable. And so Jeremiah had to do the right thing and give it a sort of Viking burial kind of, a bonfire, funeral pyre, if you will. The original marquee had been knocked in. I recently got a new one right here. This is still an original, but obviously all in one piece. And I do know that the PCB here is working, but everything else needs a ton of work, but at least it's complete. Next game we have here, sort of turned to the side, is a Bronze Age game called Midway Wheels. This was actually gifted to me by, again, Taylor, aka Dillweed, through the Overtime Arcade private channel members only Discord server. We do a Secret Santa just like they do on Clav. We do our own Secret Santa gift exchange every year, and I think this was from like 2 years ago, but really, really awesome, and very much appreciate Dillweed gifting this entire game to me. Now, coming around over here, you'll see half of my Nintendo red tent. This is the Nintendo versus Dual System cocktail cabinet. Yep, you sit down at this, it's not really quite a table because the only flat surface is up here. I guess you could put some drinks up here. But this is the Nintendo versus Dual System table, otherwise known as the red tent for obvious reasons. It's sort of shaped like a tent and it's red. This cabinet was picked up for me. An awesome deal, awesome pickup by another Overtime Arcade channel member, Jumping General, whose real name is Jonathan. Two-sided game. On this side we have golf and we have pinball on the other side that I will show you in a moment. Let's come back over here. You can look at the back of a bunch of these games, see if you can guess what they are before you come. We see them. We'll come around quickly here. We'll look at the back of these games. We'll come around down through some secret stuff, because guys, there's 3 games here that you've never seen before. This, of course, is my Missile Command cocktail. It's turned the wrong way, so you're seeing it actually play upside down. All original, except it does have a Braze multi-kit installed. I picked this up years ago, like 6, 7, I don't even know, years ago, from a Clav member. Before I even started the channel, it's finally working. The control panels are off. I've been working on this thing recently. Once we get the control panels, I got to rebuild the trackballs on them on both sides. It's got a Braze kit, which allows us to play Super Missile Attack. And I've got some minor cosmetic work to do here, but this thing is electronically done and very soon will be a completely done project. Now, looking at the other side of this red tent, obviously this monitor is Got some issues. It's going in and out of vertical collapse. On this side, we have pinball. It's got a photocopied versus tennis instruction sticker there. I got some cool ideas for what I want to do with this cabinet. One of the first things we're going to have to do is take out this pretty wicked dent in the corner here. Next up, we have another game from that West Virginia warehouse raid. Our first cabaret here is Atari's Battlezone. Very, very cool, very tiny version of Battlezone. Battlezone is a very large cabinet typically. The Red Baron that you saw downstairs in the basement is the exact same cabinet as what a Battlezone was. In fact, almost all Red Barons, including my own, were factory conversions from Battlezone. So if you look under the artwork, the Red Baron artwork, you can see Battlezone artwork. Anyway, the cabaret, much, much smaller. Little, I think they technically call this a 15-inch monitor, but it's really a 13-inch. Same controls. You don't have the sort of view scope that you would here. And this thing is complete. It was the only complete game that came out of that warehouse raid. It is missing the top, so I guess it's not entirely complete. But electronically it has everything, although nothing has been tested. But yeah, Battlezone, very excited to get that going. That's the only vector game that we have out here in the garage. Next up is Jungle King. This is another game that was picked up for me by Jeremiah from Opcorner in a different pickup. And yeah, this cabinet is a bit of a mess. Believe it or not, guys, this little teeny tiny Taito slant top cabinet that was originally Jungle King, or I'm assuming it was either Jungle King or Jungle Hunt, you know, based on the color of the side art. Anyway, some maniac converted this thing to a bootleg 4-player Ninja Turtles. Yeah, they had basically an aircraft carrier size control panel here with 4 sets of controls. And in order to make that thing fit, they had to cut into the sides of the cabinet on both sides. These giant notches were taken out to put that aircraft carrier control panel on. And yeah, I've got a working PCB. I've actually, believe it or not, got a working Taito linear power supply. I think I had a monitor. I think I rebuilt one, but then I stole it for the Ms. Pac-Man that we restored a while back. I do have the monitor frame that I got from Electric Dreams on Clove. But we are technically close here. Last thing to do is finish removing all the black paint on the sides and then fix this terrible hack job that some maniac did to the cabinet. Next up is Qbert. This is actually the second Qbert that I've been restoring on this channel. I haven't touched this for a while. The previous one I did as a J-Rock setup for my buddy Mark, my friends Mark and Danny from Back to the Media Arcade in Winchester, Virginia. I got that ready for the grand opening of their arcade a couple years ago. That's got a J-Rock setup, brand new artwork from Phoenix Arcade. Beautiful, beautiful game. This one still needs a ton of work. I'm still working on taking all, actually I've decided I'm gonna laminate the sides, so all this yellow is gonna come off. We'll get down to the bare wood and then put laminate on. And I'm going the original hardware route here. I've got a mostly working board set. I think there's a couple issues with some of the sounds. I need to order some of the artwork here. I do have another control panel because this one is just Swiss cheese. But yeah, very excited to get a Qbert added to the lineup in my own collection. Next up, we have an Atari System 1 cabinet. A couple cabinets here I got in a trade from Warren Maiden out in Ohio. Awesome Clove member, longtime well-known guy in the hobby. This is an Atari System 1 cabinet, and technically this thing spent at least some of its time as a Road Blasters. You'll notice that there is a hole cut out down here, and maybe you can't quite see it, for a pedal for Road Blasters. And Atari System 1 cabinets have generic side art. But as you can tell from the control panel, I'm going to turn this thing into a Marble Madness, which is the Atari System 1 game that I like the most. So I've got a control panel. This is a new edition, just got that on here. Just today, I picked up the Marble Madness cart, because this Atari System 1's kind of like almost a multi-game system where you can swap carts in and out like a Neo Geo or like a Play Choice 10 or like a Versus system or like a Bally Sente cabinet. Anyway, I picked up that Marble Madness cart just today from 64-bit, aka Liam from Retrobotics, and I got the control panel set up here. I got to rebuild these trackballs. I'll be getting a marquee soon, and then guys, we'll be very close to having a Marble Madness. That's very exciting. Next here is our second and final cabaret. Out here in the garage. Technically, this is a mini. It is a Sega Outrun mini cabinet. Cosmetically, this thing is basically done. Electronically, it's done. I just got to put it all back together, guys. Obviously, the bezel's not here. The control panel is totally disassembled. All the steering and the accelerator and brake, I got to put that all back together. That's been lingering for almost a year. I did all the rust removal, and now I just got to reassemble that whole thing, which is going to be a bear of work, but really excited. And this is the game that my kids are asking about the most. They're always saying, Dad, when are you going to get the Outrun working? And I tell them, well, the PCB is technically working, the monitor's technically working, everything's technically working. I just got to put the whole thing back together, and I will. We'll get to that soon. Next here is another cabinet from Warren Maiden that I got in a trade. This is Mappy, even though the side art right now says like Strata Bowling. I do have the top marquee that flips up. It's just not here right now. I've got the full replacement art package, including a new CPO because this one's a bit rough. I got the boards, I got everything I need. I just gotta find some time and do it. So this is a project that I'm excited to do. Mappy actually is an awesome, very, very fun game. And I am looking forward to getting that one working. And then over here, we won't spend too much time talking about this. This is the first of 3 cabinets that I've never revealed before on this channel. And you can kind of see it's been converted to something. This is a very large and strange cabinet, guys. You might be able to tell what it is, maybe not, but we won't be lingering on this for very long. All right, the next game we have here, again, looks like a bit of a mess. This is a totally bizarre art package on this cabinet. It's been converted to IREM skins game. It's just this crazy $100 bill, just garish artwork here. But guys, the reason I picked this up is not because I care about this golf game. It's because this cabinet, believe it or not, was originally an Atari food fight. And not a normal food fight. This was the Irish version. You maybe might consider this a cabaret, kind of. It's not that small. It's definitely a lot smaller than the full-size food fight cabinet, but very excited about this. I do have a board. I do have a joystick. I do have the correct AR2 and a transformer assembly and a Dig Dug harness that I'm going to modify into a food fight harness. So very excited to get to this project once I have time. Another very cool game that I'm excited to get to, as I am with all of these games. This is another one that came to me in a trade from Warren Maiden in Ohio. Obviously needs no introduction. It is Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, just regular Mario Brothers. The first, I believe, appearance of Luigi, as you can see him right there, just the palette swap for Mario. And in this game, Mario, at least in the artwork, is wearing a blue hat, not a red hat like you would normally see him. But yeah, this game had been converted to, I think it was a game called Crime Fighters. I've got basically everything I need. I theoretically have a PCB coming to me at some point, hopefully soon. And I've got some cool things that we're gonna do with this game as well, so we'll leave it there. Next 2 games also came from Warren Maiden. Right next to each other, we have Defender and the sequel to Defender, Stargate, known in some places as Defender 2. It even says Defender Stargate on the marquee. Both of these, I think, are complete. Both of them are untested. I think the monitors have both been rebuilt. Cosmetically, they look pretty good. I might replace the control panel overlay. This is a reproduction control panel overlay, and it wasn't really put on that great. I don't think Warren did this. I think even he got it from someone else. And you can tell that the project was sort of abandoned halfway. I think they were trying to fix the harness or something and sort of gave up. This is technically the second Defender cabinet that I've owned. The first one I had got converted to a super high impact, and then it ended up trading that to another Overtime Arcade channel member, SNES Cube 64, aka Matt. He's got that one. This one hasn't been converted and still has its artwork that you can kind of see right there. So again, very excited to have a very difficult game, Defender. I'll add it to my Williams lineup. Also, Stargate, basically faster, harder, more challenging. Defender, again, has all its artwork. Looks really good. You know, the sort of typical, very shiny Stargate control panel overlay. We have some like extra, I don't know what these are, guys, these extra bolts or screws or whatever that somebody added to the front of the cabinet, probably for a lock bar of some sort. We'll figure out how to patch that up and get rid of that. and then we'll get Stargate up and running. This did not come with a PCB, but I got a PCB for this from another Overtime Arcade channel member, Kawaru5, whose real name is John. And yeah, again, looking forward to having another awesome game in my Williams lineup. This game here, these next two actually, you've never seen before. I haven't done pickup videos for yet, but two more games that I'm very excited about. This first one, I'm not going to say much about what it is, what it was originally. Obviously, it's been converted to a game called Alcon from Taito. This was working up until 5 minutes ago. I think the power supply is shot. The monitor works, the monitor comes up, but the board's not booting. And I won't let you see really what this was originally, but we're going to have a lot of fun with this cabinet here. The next one as well, all I'm going to say is this is a Midway cabinet. We'll leave it at that. It is not, it's not what you might think. Some people might recognize what this is. If you've got a guess, leave it down below, but I'm not going to say any more. This game is pretty uncommon. Not many people even know about it, but I think it is super fun. Coming back up here to 7 more working games. This first one that's making all of this noise that has the monitor with too much red is a Dynamo HS5. This is my vertical JAMA setup. I got this pretty locally from basically a yard sale, although I went at like 11 o'clock at night because they didn't sell the first day, and so they put it on Facebook Marketplace, and I ran up there. I got this. I got a Dynamo cocktail table. That one's at work that I turned into a Tetris. I think it was a Tetris, but needed to be restored. And I got a Ms. Pac-Man mini that I traded to my buddy and Overtime Arcade channel member, Mike. So this I use as my vertical JAMA setup. Right now I have a Konami game in here called Top Gunner, which was called Jackal on the NES. So this gameplay may look familiar to you. It's got some awesome, let's see if I can get it started. The music on this, I just love. I don't know if you even hear that. The sound effects are like louder than the music. You can drive over the bad guys. Isn't that great? You can just literally, you don't even have to shoot. I mean, you can't run over enemy vehicles. I'm not even showing you it, but you can run over, whoops. You can kill bad guys just by running over them, guys. It's like Grand Theft Auto. Anyway, I loved this game on the NES when I was a kid. Great 2-player simultaneous co-op game, and excited to have the PCB. But I use this as my vertical JAMA setup. It's very easy to open up the control panel, slides out, put a new PCB in there, and it's got a big 25-inch monitor. Some people would say that's too big for a vertical monitor, but hey, I'm not going to listen to that. Next up, we have a cabinet that's very similar to a JAMA Dynamo cabinet, although this is not from Dynamo. This cabinet right here is technically from a company called East Coast Designs. I believe the model number is UV19, but it's basically a 19-inch JAMA cabinet. I've got it set up as a horizontal monitor. You can rotate it to vertical if you want. This thing at various points had Sega Golden Axe installed, and it had Clax installed and other stuff. And right now I've got it set up as a WWF Superstar. As you can see, Hulk Hogan right there, rest in peace. And yeah, I love that game. Some people think that WrestleFest is better. There's Ultimate Warrior. The roster, you know, even though the gameplay on WrestleFest might be a little bit more in-depth, the roster on Superstars just can't be beat. And again, I use this as a horizontal JAMA cabinet next to my vertical JAMA cabinet here, so I can, you know, put in different, you know, vertical and horizontal games, swap them in and out for testing or playing or whatever. And it's nice to have that versatility. And the East Coast Designs UV19 cabinet also has this design where the control panel opens up, slides out, and there's a platform that the PCB goes on, just like with the Dynamo cabinet here. Here we have another Nintendo cabinet. This one is sort of an interesting conversation here. So I believe this is a factory versus Unisystem cabinet. I think it came from the factory like that, but it's all black. Now, that's controversial because most versus Unisystem cabinets, and by Unisystem I mean a versus cabinet with only a single monitor, not two like the Red Tent, but a single monitor, Unisystem. Most dedicated Unisystem cabinets came from the factory gray, kind of like the gray that's on the control panel, gray like the NES console. This one's all black, which would imply maybe it was an R-Type, maybe it was a Play Choice 10. Guys, I've done some investigating. I can't see any signs that this was ever an R-Type. I can't see any signs that it was ever a Play Choice 10. Just the way the wiring is done, whatever. I'm thinking this was just a late run versus Unisystem cabinet. When I got it and I bought this from a Clov channel member, the East Coast Designs cabinet came locally off of, I think, Facebook Marketplace, but I got this off of a fellow member of the Clov forums, and it was Dillweed who picked it up for me, and we made a trade, or we did a bit of a handoff. Anyway, when I got this, this was a, and I know this has, I've got some flyback issues I'm dealing with here. This was a versus Super Mario Brothers, and that's great. Everyone loves Super Mario Brothers, but everyone's played Super Mario Brothers a million times. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so simple ROM swap on the PCB. Simple ROM swap got me versus Ice Climber, which is a game that a lot of people don't have a ton of familiarity with. It's a very cool platformer where you're trying to climb the mountain. You can go back and forth, but it's really about going up and up and up and up and up. And yeah, very fun game. The jumping mechanics are very different than other Nintendo games. It doesn't jump and control like Mario, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. Right here we have, it's kind of washed out because that's a very bright marquee, but this is a Williams multi-game. It's a J-Rock multi-Williams. This cabinet was originally a Joust, believe it. I know, you probably don't need to be convinced. It's got a art package from Stickersmith, which is really cool. This cabinet was also picked up for me the same time that the Jungle King was picked up by Jeremiah from Opcorner. And I got this and it was a completely empty, absolutely stripped Joust cabinet, but the bones are in relatively decent shape, so worked out a deal with Mark. He's going to be picking this up soon. It's been waiting for him. It's been ready for a while, Mark. Come and get it. But yeah, threw a J-Rock in here and all new wiring, power supply, everything, rebuilt the monitor, and this thing looks really nice. And if you just hit the 1 and 2 player start buttons, oops, yep, hold those down. You got a bunch of awesome games here. Defender, Stargate, Robotron. Let's actually play a little bit of Robotron here, or at least start it up. But yeah, all those awesome games in a single cabinet, and the J-Rock is a super faithful rendition of all of those games. Next up here, we have Moon Patrol. Now, this is the first of a couple games that came to me in another warehouse raid. This raid I actually didn't do in person. It was my buddy Jody, aka Nintendork. He did the warehouse raid and I scored 2 games out of it. The first one was Moon Patrol that you can see right here. Now electronically this thing is mostly done. Obviously the marquee light's not working, but the monitor and game are working. I don't know, I don't have this on free play. Maybe, I don't think there is a free play, built-in free play for Moon Patrol, but fully working. At least the game is fully working. Cabinet needs a little bit of TLC. We'll do some cleanup down here and probably repaint the black. I'll probably just clean the sides and put a clear coat on it because it's a little bit flaky. In this lighting, it actually looks awesome, but under harsh light, like you can see right there, some of it's getting rubbed off by people holding onto the cabinet. But yeah, very excited to have Moon Patrol. And even though it was released by IREM, it was developed by IREM, it was distributed in the US by Williams, as you can see right there. Williams and a Williams cabinet, and I'll have this in my Williams lineup. But yeah, very excited to have Moon Patrol. Now this thing is a bit weird. This was originally a Kix cabinet. As you can see by the Taito, classic Taito slant top design with the specific Kix coloring. And it's got a Kix marquee and a Kix bezel and a Kix control panel, but that's not Kix running on it. That is the Taito version of Mr. Do with the weird sort of effects that you get in the Taito version of the PCB. So obviously been converted. This has a raised letter Taito coin door, which did not originally come with this cabinet, but I did a bit of a swapperoo and wound up with this, and that's quite uncommon, and I figured what a better place to put it on than this Kix cabinet. But I do have a Kix PCB, I need a harness, and maybe at that point we'll be up and running. But again, Kix is an awesome game. Mr. Do is not terrible, but I think Kix kicks its butt. And then finally, the 28th game that we've got out here in the garage is the other game that I got from the warehouse raid with Nintendork. And this is a Berserk. Now, this had been converted to a Sega Champion Baseball, but we deconverted it. We've got, actually, this is also running a J-Rock. So J-Rock released a couple different FPGA boards. This is the one with both Frenzy and Berserk. It has two different versions of revisions of Berserk. Yeah, the marquee light's not working on this one yet. We've got some cosmetic work to do. You can see there's a bunch of like Bondo dust and all kinds of nonsense going on, but we'll get that going. But this is electronically done. We'll fix the marquee light and we'll do some final cosmetic work, and then Berserk will be totally done. So yeah, guys, 28 games out here, count them, 24 uprights, 2 cabaret/minis, 2 cocktail tables, 9 fully-ish working games, and a whole lot more, including 3 that you've never seen before. So hope you like that. Why don't we head back down to the basement and wrap up this video down there. So guys, that's the garage where all the projects and all the magic happens. And like I mentioned, there's 2 other locations where I've currently got games right now. The first one is actually the break room at my office, at my work. I'll show you a picture of it right here. Got 2 games there. First is a Dynamo HS6 cocktail with Atari Tetris installed. I got this at that flea market, not flea market, the yard sale that I was talking about. And it came with the Atari Tetris, but needed to be fixed, needed to be cleaned up. And that's really fun, head-to-head Tetris. People love playing that in the office. And I've also got this upright Ms. Pac-Man. That was the first game that I started restoring on this channel. It was a complete strip down to bare wood. I had to completely redo the stencils and all the artwork and fix everything. And again, that's a real crowd pleaser. So those are the games that I have at my office, at work, in the break room. And I've also got a couple of games over at Back to the Media Arcade in Winchester, Virginia. Again, this place is run by my friends, Mark and Danny. They sell records and comic books and video games, all this awesome stuff. And they also have an arcade in the back with a bunch of great games, like 30 arcade games and a dozen pinball machines. It's fantastic. I've worked on a ton of the games there, I've fixed a ton of games for them, but 2 of the games there actually belong to me and they're just there on loan. First is Super Off-Road. Ivan Iron Man Stewart, Super Off-Road. Now this is a unique version of the game. It's technically like the Cabaret. Usually it's a giant 3-player cabinet with 3 sets of steering wheels and pedals and everything. This is the 2-player version, a little bit smaller, fits more into a normal space. Just 2 players and 2 sets of controls. Awesome game, loved playing it on the NES, and it was ported a bunch of different places, but Super Off-Road, a real crowd pleaser as well. And also I've got a very cool cabinet here. This has been converted to a single slot Neo Geo, but it's actually a Bally Midway cabinet. Again, a cabinet where you can change the game out really easily. It comes on carts and whatever. And I'm going to be turning this back into, I don't know if it was ever officially this, but I'm going to be turning it into a chicken shift. Be careful how you pronounce that, chicken shift. That's my favorite game released by Bally Midway. It's this awesome thing where these eggs and chicks are falling. You got to save them. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, and it's only played with 2 buttons. I recently got all the kit, the electronics and everything I need for this cabinet from Overtime Arcade channel member Charles Klein. So be on the lookout for that episode coming up soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, guys, that's my collection. Over 50 games in 4 different places. I hope maybe you saw something you've never seen before, either on my channel or just in general. Please make sure you're subscribed to this channel. You don't want to miss a single episode when I'm fixing and restoring and repairing and sometimes even playing these games. You don't want to miss any of that. Do everything the YouTube algorithm wants you to do. Like, share, comment, hype, all the things. I don't know what all of them do, but especially that like button, guys. If you watch this video all the way to the end, clearly you liked it, so make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And hey, I'm open to feedback. If you didn't like this, hit that dislike button, the thumbs down button. In fact, hit it twice. Really tell me that you didn't like it. Hit that dislike button, the thumbs down button twice to really show me, give me a piece of your mind. And guys, if you want to support the channel, again, the best way to do that is to become an Overtime Arcade channel member. And I really want to thank all the awesome people, over 120 people listed here, Look at all these names. I'm sure if you've been in this hobby for any period of time, collecting, restoring original arcade machines, you will recognize at least some of these names here. These guys really, really helped me out. I couldn't do it without them. And I've really, really enjoyed the community that we've built together. It is awesome. It's the most positive, supportive, awesome community. And if you want to be a part of that, hit that join button down below. You'll get into the Discord. You'll get into our private members-only monthly live stream, and you'll get early access to all new videos like this one here. All right, guys, I think that'll wrap it up. I am exhausted. We've been through a ton of games here. As always, thanks for watching Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie. God bless you all, and we'll see you next time.
Overtime!